All right, let's get into this. Let's get into my big basket of empties. And I think we also have some gotta get rid of it, even though it's not empties in here. I can't remember. Honestly, I've been working on this one for a while. I feel like my little makeup lover and skincare lover's brain has been like, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And then all of a sudden I'm like, you need to stop. You have like 4 cleansers, 4 moisturizers out. You've got all sorts of things that you're working with and you just need to try to use something up. So it has taken me a while to do this one. I will say though, I feel like I've been doing pretty good with the skincare recently. I've been trying to like limit what I'm using to like get through what I'm using. You know what I'm saying? Wow, this is already starting to get rambly. But if we haven't met before, my name is Kelly and I'm a professional hair and makeup artist, and here on my channel I strive to keep beauty real. Real honest, real relatable, and real fun. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, don't forget to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. We're gonna dive right into this basket. Let's go ahead and start with some body care. Oh, this looks like it's been through hell and back, but it kind of has. This is one of the Frank body scrubs. This is the coconut coffee scrub. So this is actually like, if you've never tried one of these, it's coffee granules and it's a little bit oily, but it's not like if you think about the ones that come in the jar that have a much more oily consistency. I love this. I like this because obviously the coffee doesn't, you know, dissolve like a sugar or a salt scrub would. It also just seems a bit more gentle on the skin. It's scrubbier, but it's more gentle. I think that like maybe like salt crystals and sugar crystals. Sugar isn't quite as bad, but those salt ones, I think the crystals just tend to be bigger and like more rough. So this I really like. The only thing I don't like about it is you better have a spray nozzle in your shower after you use this. So if you just have like a shower head, I'm not so sure because this just gets everywhere. It gets everywhere. I definitely have to like hose out the shower a little bit, but I love the smell. I've had a couple different smells. I like the coconut coffee one. You definitely have to be a coffee lover, or at least love the smell of coffee to enjoy these, but I really do. So would I get another one? Yeah, I have so many everythings right now that I probably won't be purchasing. I did see that it's either on sale at Ulta right now or will be on sale through the holidays. So I was very tempted, but I'm like, nope, you have all sorts of body scrubs. They're more like in the jar ones, which I don't love, but I need to use those up. I just need to use those up before I go back to this one. I would definitely buy this again. All right, some body wash. I actually got this, I think, last holiday season. This is the Quiet and Roar brand, vanilla and chai latte. So this, I just got at Target, and I honestly, it was just so intriguing to me because I love chai, but first of all, I don't know why I got this because I don't love food smells on myself. But I was thinking it'd more be like just the spices of chai, but this smells more like a gingerbread cookie dunked in a chai latte, or it really actually, it smells more like that like fake chai, you know, like when it's like overly syrupy. It smells kind of like that. It's not like that rich, earthy, yummy, spicy, give it to me chai. So I did use this, but luckily the scent didn't like last that long. I didn't love the scent. The body wash was okay, but the formula wasn't like amazingly nourishing. So for sure in the winter, I don't think I would go back to this. It was just an impulse buy. I was at Target. What can I say? All right, we have 2 native deodorants. We have palm leaf and bergamot, and we have sandalwood and fig. So I liked both of these. I do think, so this one is a little bit more like bright and fresh, and this one has a little bit more of that like woody, yet still green from the fig kind of feel. I loved both of these. I think they were both limited edition, but I do feel like native kind of like recycle scents. So I do always just like to mention the scents. This is the deodorant that I use most of the time. It is annoying though that like you can kind of hear that. There's like just enough that there's not really much you can do with it, because if you twist it up enough to try to use it, it just like either falls out or like falls into the thing. So that is a little bit annoying, but I do really like this deodorant. And of course I would repurchase it because I've repurchased many. I actually picked up a couple of the fresh mistletoe scent. That is one of my favorites. I remember loving it last year and I think they brought it back this year. So I've already picked up a couple of those, but I still have some from my last native order. So I'm good for a while. All right, let's dive into some skincare. So I've been trying to get through some of my skincare minis, especially ones that have actives that I know like dissipate over time. This tube of the Good Genes lactic acid treatment, I mean, it felt like it was still active, but I'm really kind of surprised because in a tube like this, I just feel like that's not very like airtight, but it still worked for me. And then I also have one of the little mini airtight pumps. So I got through both of these. I do have a big size. Okay, if you have a great like AHA, BHA acid treatment that you like to use, let me know what it is. I actually really like the Honeymoon Pharmacy Glow as well. That one, I just don't feel like it's maybe quite as strong, and that's not like better or worse, right? But I do sometimes pick up the Good Genes when it's on BoxyCharm sales. I don't think that I would ever like pay full price for it necessarily. So once I'm done with the Good Genes that I do have, I would probably move back to pharmacy. So those are my favorite two right now, but let me know if you have one that you enjoy. Another little mini, this was gifted to me, and this is the Make Prem Safe Me Relief Moisture Cleansing Milk. So this came in a little trio of products, and this is the one that I was most excited for, but I actually really liked the foaming cleanser better. It was just okay. It just didn't do quite enough. I mean, even in the morning when I used it like without any like makeup or anything on, I just felt like about it. I mean, it was fine, but I don't think I would repurchase it. I know that I've talked about the foaming cleanser that goes with this, and I love it. Okay, this is one that took me a little bit to get through. So this is the Axis Y Sarah Hart My Type Duo Cream Moisturizer. So this used to have, oh, it actually kind of still has like a tiny, tiny bit of the gel in it. It had a cream side and a gel side. So one, you know, you could use for day and night, or, you know, for different areas of your face. I liked it. So the creamy side in it was definitely my favorite. That one was almost like a lighter, like just ever so slightly more watery version of the Kiehl's Ultra facial cream. I love that. And so I was like, oh, that's really nice. But I also have this one. I just happen to have it here because this is one that I'm trying to get through. So this is the Pyukang Yul. I'm sure I am butchering that. I'm so sorry, but this is the Calming Moisture Barrier Cream. And this I feel like is also very close to the Kiehl's one, and you know, at a little lower price point, I believe. And the thing is like the gel one in here, I didn't love it. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. It was nice for the summertime, but I also felt like if it's what I used at night, it just had like a little bit of a tacky feel to it. If I wore it during the day, it was actually kind of nice because it almost like worked to like help grip my makeup, but it just wasn't something that I loved. So the dual product thing, it's like you have to love both to really like feel like you're getting your use out of it. And I did also find, not that it was a huge deal, but I did also find when I traveled with this, a little bit would tip from one side into the other. I do think this came with a cover on it though that I could have kept, and that probably would have alleviated that, but I am just, I do, y'all, okay, the skincare routine takes way too long to constantly be like taking off inner lids after you unscrew a lid all the time. I can't do that. So I did pitch that. And if I didn't mention it, I was gifted this one, I think. I was either gifted it or it came in my Yes Style advent calendar last year. I honestly can't remember, I'm so sorry. And honestly, it doesn't really matter because whether something's gifted or I purchased it, I'm still giving you my honest thoughts, as all of us here on YouTube say, so you can believe who you want and mistrust who you want. Anyway, so not a cleanser for your face, but let's talk about this product. This is a brush cleanser. So this is the Japanesque one. It's the Gentle Goat Milk Cleansing Balm. So oh, I just have like the tiniest little ribbon in here and it's like very dried up. This did an okay job, but it wasn't a very heavy duty cleaner. So I think it worked great for like blush brushes, bronzer brushes, highlighters, but for foundation, it just didn't break up enough of the product for me. Like I really had to work at it. I do prefer the original Beauty Blender solid cleanser over this one. And honestly, from what I remember, the price on this wasn't like that much less than Beauty Blender, so I would probably stick to that. It was okay. Oh, I found another little mini skincare item in here. So this is the Herbivore Lapis Balancing Facial Oil. I got this a hot minute ago in one of the Sephora favorites, like winter skincare sets a long time ago. I really like this product. So this oil is targeted towards oily or acne prone skin. I don't think that I'm really either of those things, but I did find that I would pull this one out if I was having a few more breakouts or if I felt like my skin was just feeling like a bit red and irritated, because this has blue tansy and it also has azulene, which is known to soothe dry or irritated skin, reduce the appearance of redness, and leave the skin feeling more balanced. So I really like this one, and honestly, can I just tell you, there's something about the scent. So from the moment that I tried this, This is gonna be weird, but this actually really reminds me of my grandpa, and it has this little vibe. I actually thought maybe it had some like jasmine or something in it because it smells a bit like the tea that we would drink when well, I didn't drink it at that point. I thought it was kind of gross, but my grandpa would always get tea when we would go out for Chinese food. This is such a random thing, but like I just remember thinking at that time that jasmine tea smelled a little bit like saran wrap and tasted a little bit like that. I was like, I don't know, it's just a little bit plasticky. I've never really understood like the tea that you like, Grandpa, when we come out for like Chinese food. And it just right away, it reminded me of that. This has almost like a bit of like a peach or a nectarine scent to it as well. It's a bit more fruity, but there's just a note in here. Anyway, so every time I wore it, I just thought of my grandpa, and it's just nice to have those memories now that he's gone. So I would maybe consider buying this if I got it on sale, because I used to be that girl who would buy all the deals. I do actually have a backup of this because I bought that other skincare set too. So I still do have one of these. I will enjoy using it. Like I said, you know, more when my skin's feeling a little stressed and broken out, but it was a good one to have. All right, we have 2 hairsprays in here. This one is completely gone. This is my favorite. This is the Paul Mitchell Extra Body Finishing Spray. I've probably had this in empty videos before. I'm not a huge hairspray user, but when I do, it's this one. I just feel like what is it? The most interesting man in the world. So isn't that like the tagline from those commercials? Obviously not the hairspray part. Anyway, I really love this because it gives some extra shine. It smells nice without being too overpowering. And I like that it's very brushable. So for me, who doesn't wash her hair, but like every 7 days or so, if I do happen to use some hairspray, I don't want it to like lock me into that style for the next while unless I'm gonna like wash my hair. And it doesn't flake. It's just beautiful. It's buildable. I really like it. It's been a favorite of mine for a very long time. All right, this one, it's basically full. It's basically full. This is the Way Texturizing Hairspray. I got this in some sort of a box back when I was doing subscription boxes, and y'all, this hairspray, I can't with this. I got it and I was like, all right, you know, I'm pretty particular, but it's a hairspray, like whatever. If I have days where I've, you know, put my hair up and I just need to like tame some of the like flyaways or whatever, maybe that's something that I can do with this. I can't because the fragrance on it is so strong and so overpowering, and it lasts a while, and it does not smell good to me. It does not smell good. This reminds me of like rich bitch, old lady fragrance. Like that rich old lady who wears too much perfume and she wears a really expensive one because she wants it to be known that it's expensive. Like, it's just too much. It's too overpowering. I don't like it. It is here in my empties. I'm going to see if I can find someone, like maybe at work, somebody at the salon will enjoy using this. Oh, I can't. It's just too much. I don't enjoy that. I don't like things that have like such overpowering scents, especially because I love wearing fragrance. And like, let's say one day I want to wear like a cozy vibe, little like, you know, vanilla or like sandalwood scent, and I pull this out, it's gonna clash and probably just completely like blow that other fragrance out of the water. Not a fan. Okay, another one that I'm basically getting rid of. There's about half in here. I'm getting rid of this because of the smell of it. I've had it a long time, so it could have gone off, but this is the Skindinavia Makeup Finishing Spray. It's so strong. It's so strong, and maybe it's always smelled like this, but it just smells like alcohol-y. And I mean like actual, like something that you would take a shot of when you were like 21. I don't like it. I don't like the smell of it. All right, a couple of things we have in here. I'm so sad. I loved this one. This is the Marc Jacob At Lashed Mascara. I've had the sample for so long and I finally used it and I fell in love with this mascara, and of course you can't get it anymore. So I'm very sad about this one, but it was wonderful. I also have one of the Hourglass Unlocked mascaras. This is a tubing mascara. I do really like this one, and I finally got to the point where I'm like, all right, it still had its good days, but it had a lot of bad days. So I'm like, it's just drying up. You just need to like let go of that one. Okay, let's talk about some brow things. So the Kosas Air Brow, I got this as a little freebie in a Sephora order. It's in the shade medium brown. This is a little too warm for me, but I could make it work. Like, it was okay. It just was like almost tipping into auburn, but it was nice. I don't know. I liked it. I really liked it at first, and then I was like, I'm not so sure. So if it's not something that I love, I probably won't buy it. So then I found this Milani brow shaping wax in my drawer over here one day, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put that in. Maybe that's like gonna be, you know, like some feathery brows like I have today. I have the e.l.f. brow lift. What is that one called? The e.l.f. brow lift? Yeah, I think that's what that is. Anyway, I have that one in today. This is nothing like that. It doesn't even hold the brows down. I don't know what this is supposed to do, maybe condition them, but it doesn't give any hold at all. So I'm getting rid of this one. It's really old anyway. So then here we have 3 brow pens. We have this L'Oreal Micro Ink Pen. This is supposed to be, you're not even gonna be able to see it probably, but it's supposed to be one of those 3-pronged things, but there's barely prongs on it. So it's just basically like a freaking big Sharpie marker. I did not like this one. And then we have one of the Precisely My Brow. What shade do I have here? 3.5. This is a pretty good shade. That's actually what I have in my brows today because there's like just enough. I was like, okay, you have to be careful. And I kept going from side to side to make sure that I didn't like run out with it all of a sudden on one eyebrow. So we did okay with it, but it's slightly warmer, but not so warm that it looks odd. I think that this is a good shade because if I go too cool, I don't want to look like I have like gray eyebrows either, right? So this is a pretty good one, 3.5. I felt like I went through this very quickly though. So I was actually really shocked when I went one day to like, and I was like, really? Nothing? You're giving me nothing? I'm like, gosh, I don't know how long I've had this, but I didn't think it was that long. So would I get it again? Maybe. I'm not really sure. You know, brow pen. I mean, a lot of times a brow pen's a brow pen. So that's exactly how I felt with this one. This is the Han All Sharp Brow, and I believe this is from Rom and ND. So this is really kind of a cool concept. You have in the middle, you have a brow powder with one of those little like sponge tip applicators, which is cool because then you still have a spoolie on the one side, and then you have a brow pencil on this side. Yeah, I used it to smithereens, but think about it though, like the pencil on this is probably like only to here, right? Like it's not very long. And then you have a little bit of brow powder in here. I actually really liked it because you were able to get like a very soft looking brow, but I went through it very fast. So I don't think that I would get it again. Maybe if I could find them on like a super sale. It was just like, oh, that was gone all of a sudden. And by the way, this is the shade W1 Gentle Brown. I thought it was a good match for me. Oh dang, we still have one more. We have one more brow pencil, and this is another one of those like tipped things. This is the Etude House Tint My Brow 4 Tip Brow. I've had this one forever because I remember I did my first K-Beauty haul. I did this back when I was living next door, and yeah. This one I was like, this does not work because it starts to look like, it looks like you're trying to make your brows sand art. You know, like every line is right in place and every line starts and stops at the same spot, which is not what happens with hairs. So I didn't like this one. What I would do is tilt it to its side and just like go through, but it's got like it's like a khaki base to it. Like it's a brown with some green in it. And I don't think that is anybody's undertone. If you have incredibly olive skin, maybe like on your skin, this would actually look decent, but it wasn't for me. All right, a couple liners. We have the Sephora eyeliner. This is the waterproof brush tip. Got this on sale, you know, when the Sephora brand was on sale. This was a while ago too. It was okay, not my favorite. I still prefer the KVD one, to be honest. It was okay. It just didn't give me like a super crisp line, and the formula was all right. So I don't think I'll be buying this one again. Again, I don't have like any like, oh no, I remember this sucked about it. It's just like a, it obviously didn't replace my other favorite. Here is an eyeliner that I actually really enjoyed. I'm just very surprised that it's already used up. So this is the Smashbox Always Sharp Waterproof Kohl, and this is in the shade Penny Lane. It was this beautiful, like, dark, oh my gosh, there's like a little tiny nubbin and it's so dried up. But it was this dark shade that had like a tiny little bit of reflectivity in it, and it's this just beautiful, like slightly shimmery brown. It was very lovely. And the Always Sharp, by the way, you like twisted this and the sharpener is actually like in the top, so it is constantly giving you a sharp liner, which is kind of nice. Now I have had this one for a decent amount of time. I did use it enough, but not enough that I ever thought, like the one day, again, kind of like the brow pencil, I went like this and I was like, is the mechanism broke? And I'm like, no, I think I just like hit the top. I hit the glass ceiling in this liner and it was a little bit disappointing. So I won't be repurchasing this again, kind of for that reason, but also because I have so many. I have so many liners right now. So if the one thing is, I will say the formula of this was nice, and if you are incredibly lazy and you find yourself wanting a slightly creamy pencil, but you don't want to have to deal with a sharpener, this might be a good one for you since it's right in the cap. All right, a couple fragrances. So let's talk about the Skylar Vanilla Sky. Now this is not the sample from the one that came in my Sephora Vanilla Favorites. I actually had one of these before, and I'll just say it again, like, I feel like this is a nice vanilla, but it's not one I would buy. It's just kind of like a good basic vanilla. I don't know. I honestly don't even remember like all of my musings on it, but if you do want to know more, I'll go ahead and link that Vanilla Favorites video down below from that set. But yeah, I evidently used all of this, but I have vanillas that I like much better, so I wouldn't repurchase that one. Well, not that I purchased that sample. So now here, I do have a fragrance that I would repurchase. This is the Juliet Has a Gun Sunny Side Up scent. So this is the perfect, like, warm skin, sitting in the sun. It's slightly beachy, but not in like a sunscreen way, like literally more in that like warm skin. I'm just gonna keep saying that. So I would imagine that this probably has some Isui Super, some sandalwood, like some creamy notes. It is so good. Well, sandalwood is creamy, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it's just so good. I was tempted to pick one of these up like right away when I ran out of it, but I was like, it's okay. There's gonna be a spring sale, and this one is not one that I would necessarily wear in like the fall and winter time. This is definitely for me more of like a summer scent, or like a tipping into summer, or like on those really hot days when you want a little something, but it's not gonna be like choking you and everybody out. This is a great one. So I'm gonna wait, but I would definitely recommend this one if it's something that you're looking at. Although I did see that Juliet Has a Gun is having a sale. They're having a Black Friday sale. All right, I might have to look at that, because now that I know that I really like this scent, I might invest in a full size. Okay, but anyway, yes, I would really buy it. Okay, two last makeup products that I have here, and one I used up and one I did not. These are both the Maybelline Fit Me. So the light shade, yep, the light number 10, I definitely used this all the way up. But then I have the shade 25 medium, and I think it went off. I think it went off because there was something about this that was like a little like tingly on the skin the one day when I used it, and it doesn't smell super awesome. So I was like, it's a Maybelline concealer, you can get rid of this one. I do really like this concealer though. This is still one of those ones that's just so good for that like very natural, no makeup vibe. I really like this one, but I have a lot of concealers now, so I'm gonna cool my jets, but I would repurchase this one. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed that look into my little empties bin here. It's been a hot minute and I'm excited to be able to recycle these, although the recycling people were just here a little bit ago. Dang it, should have filmed this earlier. Oh well. I want to thank you lovelies for hanging out with me today and being nosy about what I have gone through, and cheer me on as I continue, especially with the skincare, y'all. I really gotta like focus and start using up some of my skincare. It's getting crazy around here, but that is it for today. Let me know, have you tried any of these? How do you feel? If you have any like conflicting thoughts, if there's anything that I hated that you loved or vice versa, go ahead and leave it in the comments so people know a well-rounded view of these products, and I will see you really soon.